Good evening, everyone. My name is Harsh, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk by What After College. Today, we are on our episode number 32, and today we have Mr. Mahavir Sharma, who is the chairman of TIE Global Board of Trustees, with us. So, let me just very quick, or can all of you just very quickly in the comment section write down from which part of the country we are having our audience from, your city and your college, so we can get an idea from where we are having our audience today. Okay, Aparna from New Delhi. Rajasthan. Okay, so let me just very quickly tell you about what is the vision of what after college. The vision of what after college is to eradicate unemployment from India by making India's youth job ready. So, what after college? It is a very common question in the minds of the students. To answer this question, whataftercollege.com has created a platform called Let's Talk, where we invite industry dignitaries to share their experiences, journey, and skills to the students for their learning, growth, and counseling. We conduct Let's Talk webinar thrice a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. These are the events for our this week. Today we have Mr. Mavi Sharma with us. These are our previous events, and these are some other events that we have conducted in the past. If you want to get a regular update from What After College, you can just hit the bell icon on the What After College YouTube page. Also, I'll share a link to the WhatsApp group. You can join that WhatsApp group if you want regular updates. Also, this webinar is powered by What After College workshop series. In these workshop series, you will get trained by industry experts. You can also make a career roadmap for yourself. You will be working on projects with these experts, and you will also get a participation certificate for these workshops. So, if you are interested in these workshops, you can just go to our website, whataftercollege.com, and check these out. Also, you will get the certificate for today's webinar when you will fill the feedback form. Today we have Mr. Mahavir Sharma, who is chairman of TIE Global Board of Trustees with us. He's the first Asian to be the chairman of TIE Global Board of Trustees. He is also the owner of Oscar Export Design LLP that manufactures and exports carpets and silver jewelry for the past 27 years. He specializes in mentoring for startups and strategic marketing and branding. He is also supporting the performing and visual arts of Rajasthan by leading in many non-profit initiatives for the last 2 decades. Today, he'll be telling about how to raise funds for your startup or how to begin your startup for all the beginners and for all the fresh entrepreneurs that we have today on our webinar. So, over to you, sir. You can take the webinar from here.
Thank you, Harsh. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad that quite a few of you have joined from different parts of the world. All you are, I'm told that most of you are college students, either graduating or graduated, and want to be entrepreneurs and want to start your own startups. So I will start off by explaining to you what a startup by definition means for those of you who you don't know, and then I will tell you what are the steps or what are the way forward for you to raise money or how to approach angels or VCs or private equity funds. So, a startup, there is a simple difference between having a business and a startup. Both of them, are entrepreneurial ventures. They both make profit, but the difference between a regular business and a startup is that the scaling of a business from 100 uh, lakh turnover to 500 lakh turnover would require a lot of money and time and energy to scale up. Whereas in a startup, the scalability is very, very easy. You can scale multiple times, 5x, 10x, 100x, without putting in that much of multiplication by way of capital expense or by way of operating cost. Just to give you an example, if I run a taxi service, and I have 50 cars in Delhi. For me to grow my taxi service, I would have to 10 times I would have to buy 500 cars. Basically, that would mean is that I would need to invest 10 times the money of that I need to put in. Whereas in an Uber kind of a model, which is they're not buying cars, for them to go from 50 cars to 500 cars, they don't have to spend 10 times the money. All they have to do is sign up 500 drivers, have some operational cost of which is more than what 50 cars would need. So maybe by putting in twice as much money or two and a half or three times the money, they can scale up 10 times. So that is the difference between a regular business and a startup. The scalability is multifold, primarily because of two or three reasons. One, you have disrupted the market, meaning thereby that it is no longer required to own a car, to rent a car. Two, you have used technology, which is the app that you use, because then when the outreach of an app is as big as mobile smartphones that people have across the world. And thirdly, you've had the vision to put the team together, which can execute this technology and this idea into the field and sign up the drivers, sign up people who are into bulk usage of cars, and that those three things, good team, technology, and the fact that you have disrupted what is existent or what is required, creates are the three key elements that you can change your business to, from a business to a startup. So for example, if any of you have your parents in a business, and let's say they have a retail shop, let's just say a sari shop or a or an electronic goods shop, there's nothing wrong in joining them. You can scale that business up, you can have more business. But if you took that business online, if you made sure that people don't have to come to your store to buy, if you were, let's say someone is in Bihar, if you were in Patna, and you don't have to sell just to people in Patna, but you can now advertise in Calcutta and sell to people in Calcutta, or you can buy for less, or you can have AR and VR in your website, where people can try on a sari or a dress without even coming to your store. What you have done is you have tried to increase your sales without increasing your opening a store in Calcutta, without adding more inventory, but just by use of technology and paying some social media in Calcutta, you have an opportunity to grow your business. So that is kind of a moving from entrepreneurship to a startup kind of a domain, and that's what is defines startup. So the team is very, very critical. Not just even if you have the technology, but if you don't you're not able to tell the world that you have this technology, or they need to download it, or they need to use it, or they need to be members of it, or they need to subscribe it will not work. Similarly, technology is something that is a very, very important and critical tool. And technology is not creating a website. Technology is not creating a very good app. Technology is integrating this app or website into a good user interface, a good user experience. So UI UX is important. Now, depending on what product or service you are doing, do you have a chatbot that is AI or ML learning? If you have visual products that you're selling, do you have technology where they can visualize? Is there AR, VR, and other things that are required? If you have a huge stock or a commodity, do you have blockchain where you know where the product is and how the product is moving? So all these technologies are ever evolving, and they need to be integrated with whatever you create. So startup technology is an ever evolving technology. You have to continue to use multiple technologies into whatever product or service that you are trying to sell, and that is what will create a technology, and that is what will create a startup. Now, disruption. Many people come to me, sir, I have a startup in the ed tech field, I have a startup in health tech field, I have a startup in agri tech. These words sound great, but हेल्थ टेक में क्या है? आप दवाइयां बेच रहे हो, आप डॉक्टर्स की अपॉइंटमेंट ले रहे हो, आप अपना हॉस्पिटल्स का डेटा मैनेज कर रहे हो और रिपोर्टिंग कर रहे हो. What are you trying to do in health tech? Are you trying to do an IP where you're creating a new drug? So all these things are very, detailing of every large broad sector is required. Then how many people are in that field? Is it a lot of competition? Are there companies who have been funded huge sums of money who can pivot into something that they're not doing and you are doing and kill you? All these things are also very important. So disruption has to be such that no one can copy you immediately. No one can follow you. There should be at least 3 to 6 months of lag time for you to be able to, for other people to be able to reach what you are doing or what you can do. That is what is disruption. Disruption is no longer disrupting a dawai wale ki dukaan or a hospital ka dukaan or farmer ka shop. Disruption actually is also disrupting what other people are doing in the startup ecosystem and creating shortcuts or something that's very cheap or something that's much better in terms of user experience or UI. Those all these elements are also needed. So scalability, use of technology, multiple types of technology, just not one type of technology. Disruption not only to what existed 5 years ago, 2 years ago, or 10 years ago. Disruption to what exists right now or what might happen, what Google might do tomorrow. So sometimes you might come up and say something that we are doing, or WhatsApp can do it. So you have to be very, very critical and very sure that your disruption will ensure that no one else can follow you. The key or the best thing to do is, if you have invented something or if you have created a process that others have don't have it, the best thing is to get a patent done. Getting a patent done is always a way to ensure that other people will not be able to follow you. That would take you into a level of a or a criteria of a startup. So I hope I've explained multiple things on the startup ecosystem, the technology, the team, the disruption in elaborate detail, because all these requirements or all these definitions have to be check marked before we go to anyone for funding. So if you have cleared all these things, if you're okay with all of these things, and in your mind or in your team's mind or in your peers, people around you, if you feel that you have cleared all these three hurdles, then you have to go and do a fundraise. Multiple levels of fundraise happen. There is idea stage fundraise that happens. There is early stage fundraise that happens. Then there is a growth stage, pre-series A, series A. Multiple levels of fundraises that happen. Seed stage funding is when you have created a prototype, or when you have a patent with you, or you have an IP with you, or you have created something that no one else does have or can have. Those ideas in that domain will actually or can actually create a. Just give me a second. Just charge my phone. Those ideas can get money at seed stage, or you have a incredibly great co-founding team of 4 people who have experience of startups, who have knowledge on technology or coding or software or AR, AI, VI, ML, whatever these terms are, a deep knowledge of all this technology, and you can create something. So if there is a potential, that is where money comes at seed stage. Seed stage money is the most high risk money. Angels have to be very, very sure that this money will work. We know that we are going to have success rates, which is going to be very small percentage. But if we do succeed, the turnaround will be very high because we are investing at a very early stage. So the valuation will be low. And that money is very critical because despite having the technology, despite having the knowledge, despite having a good team, if you don't have the money, you can't execute it. You can't do, you can't hire people, you can't go to the market, you can't create a prototype. So that seed stage money comes at the lowest valuation, is very, very critical, is the most high risk from angels point of view, and it is not as easy to get. Now, if you've created a prototype and you've gone to the market, so after you've gone to the market and you have a few people who are subscribed to your product or purchased your product and also are paying you for it, even if you are losing money, and if you are showing growth week on week, month on month, and you're growing in numbers, and your revenue is steadily growing, you are ready to be funded at that stage of funding, which is called early stage of funding. Again, the valuation is little lower than what it was at seed stage. Again, a very high risk business, because we have seen businesses in early stage grow in a city, grow in a college, grow in a small section, but when they go pan India, when they go global, it is very, very difficult because the team is not ready for it, or there's someone else doing something similar or better, or technology has changed. So this is very, very critical and very important, that you reach out to investors. Again, the equity is not as high as the seed stage, but it is little less. but still it is pretty decent. It should be in the range of 15% or so, give and take 5%. Something that's very important. And I'll come to valuation after I'm done with all these stages. And then once you are growing, or once you have reached a stage where you have conquered your city or your state with your product or service, and you have users who are paying for the last 5 6 months and they're growing, now you want to scale it up to India. Now that is the third stage of funding. Fundraise is easier because you have a pilot, you have a proof of concept, you have a product that market needs. We can see the numbers that you're getting. Projections pan India are easy. Valuation becomes more legit. Your valuation is lower than, again, early stage, and you will eventually easier to raise money. The angels get much a little lower, about 10% equity is what we look at that point of time, and that's where the angel funding happens. So I will not go to further series, pre-series A, series A, because VC and private equity are much later, and your angels will handhold you and help you raise that money. But these three stages is where I think you should be looking at the level or the stage that you are. Anytime that you have to raise or come to us for money, you have to have a private limited company. We will not fund an LLP. We will not fund a partnership or a proprietorship firm. We will not fund someone who's a solo founder. You need with two, three, if not more, co-founders with varied strengths. So you have to have a company. You have to have a proper compliance. Taxes have to be paid, TDS, GST, whatever, registrations wherever required. If it's health and medical, you have to be. So all those paperwork has to be complete, even for any of these stages. Someone is asking, what do we need to increase sales? You need to have someone who invests in you, where you can market and brand your product so that your sales increase. So we'll do the question answers later, but this is what it is. Now valuation is something which is very, very haywire. About 2 3 years ago, if you went for valuation, the valuations were much higher. In the last 2 years, everyone is not worried about the top line as to how much is your sales or how many people registered. We want to know what is the profitability. When will you be in the black? Are you going to be positive ever, or you're just burning money? So, and post this COVID situation, it has become more realistic. So valuations have further fallen down because we need to know the numbers. Every startups are struggling to achieve the numbers. So it's very, very critical that valuations are in the right place. Normally, when we say idea stage 20-25% equity, early stage 15-20% equity, and growth stage from one city or state to national or global, about 8 to 10% equity. What that means is that it is your valuation does not become 10 times if you want 10%. Your valuation does not become 6.5 times if you want 15%, or 5 times when we want 20%. The money that you need before the next round of funding, which is in 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, is what the money that you need. That does not change whether what level or what stage you are. So even if you need only 10 lakhs, it's 10 lakhs. You can give 1% only if your valuation is high, or 2% only. But if you need 1 crore, you need 1 crore. And if that means that your company, 50% of the company goes, so be it. But your requirement of money based upon your roadmap or your plan to grow the company from level A to level B should not change. That should be very, very realistic and very good. Once you have done that, valuation is a totally different mathematics. Valuation depends on the product or service that you're doing, competition in the market that we have. What are other companies in the same area or same domain have been valued before with now a depreciated valuation? Ab unki valuation kitni hogi? Third, what is the future prospect of the business? Is it going to grow 1x, 2x, 10x, 100x next year, next 2 years? All these revenue and profitability kitni hai, burn kitna hai, team ki capability kya hai, all these elements that I had told by definition of a startup are required for a valuation. And valuation is very, very perceptive. There's no formula. My perception of valuation could be different from other angel investors' valuation, and it can vary anywhere from, it can fluctuate 15-20% by on its own. So valuation becomes very important. So when you know that you need 100 bucks and your valuation is 1000 rupees as per other all the parameters, then you have to dilute 10% equity. If there is a mismatch for any reason that your valuation is low but money required is more, you will not get funded, because no, even if you offer 50% equity to me at idea stage, early stage, I will not take 50% equity, because it's not my job to run the company, it's your job. So my stake should not go beyond the next percentage, and I will make sure that it does not. So valuation and money needs to be matched. Sometimes also what we have seen is that if this is not matching, you have to break your money requirement into two phases. Phase one, from Patna, we will cover Bihar and not project India. So Patna may, if let's say you spend 10 lakhs to acquire the market, you need for Bihar, you need 15 more lakhs, so be it. India, you need 2 crores, so be it. So we'll break down your milestones from country to state or region or product or R&D, whatever we need to do, and we'll give you a small milestone where you only need 15 lakhs for that time of the time period. And then from Bihar, we will take you on a next a follow-on round or a next round. So if the product, service, team, technology disruption are good, the angels will find a way to tell you that we don't want more equity, you should break down your milestones, and then we can go forward. The most important thing is technology, team, disruption that you have, and the fact that it is scalable or not, and there is competition in similar fields or not. If you cover these things in your startup, fundraising is all the more easier, irrespective of what times they are. In the first 2 3 months of the COVID, there was uncertainty, but now things are getting back to normal in terms of investment. Investments are happening, people will invest, so don't worry about these times. So it will work. So this is how you raise money, and this is all against equity. So there's no collateral required. There is a board seat that you have to give. So someone will sit on a board. He or she will make sure that you are following the process. You compliances are happening. You are reporting monthly or quarterly to the investors. All that will happen. The other thing, there is also something called debt funding. So for sometimes when you have a business model that is not, you have a very strong business model, you don't want to dilute your equity, and you are not in the early stage or idea stage but on a growth stage where you want to go, where you are number one in your state of Rajasthan, and now you want to be number one in Jaipur, and there's or in India, and there's no one else doing something like that, you can go for debt funding. What debt funding means is that you get money on an interest rate from debt ventures, who will you will have to return the money in 1 year or 2 year, or before, at the time of the next raise, and you will have to pay a fixed interest to it. And that is how you can also scale up if you are so sure of your business and you don't want to dilute the equity at this time because you're not getting the right valuation. As I said, if I as an angel and you as a co-founder don't agree on a valuation, you should or you can go to a debt funding route. There are debt funds available and you can go that. So all in all, this is how funds are raised. This is how startups are defined. I would love to now take questions and go deeper into whatever subject, because I don't know what audience I have, how much of this you've understood, or this is too elementary for you. I can go deeper into whatever you have. So, Arsh, if you can go to questions, and I would be happy to answer all the questions
Uh,
that they are required. Yeah.
yes. All those people who have questions can just write their questions in the live comment section, and sir will answer those questions. Also, the What After College online workshop series that we conduct every weekend is conducted by Triple IT Kharagpur and Triple IT Allahabad. And people who are looking to fill the feedback form today to get this certificate, this is the password for today's feedback form. So please write this password down if you are filling the feedback form. And please type your questions in the comment section, all those questions that you are having. So we have our first. Sir, can you see the question on your screen or should I dictate it for you?
No, no, no,
Hello?
fine. I'm just teaming up with the right people is essential. Being in a college, I have not found any person from myself to worthy to get in the as a team. How shall I find and make a good team? Please guide. So very good question, very valid question. The co-founders absolutely have to be in sync. If you can't get along with your co-founder, if you have disagreements and thought process is not right, it's not worthy. Also, all of you have to be from slightly different. If all of you are software engineers, it doesn't work because you need to have marketing, you need to have sales, you need to have HR, you need to have communication. So everything is needed. So I think don't rush into forming a team. This is not something that you're born with. You can take your time, go work for a company or two, go work for a startup, go work as an intern. You will go work at a co-working space, go do work at an incubator. You will find like-minded people. You should be sure of what is your strength. You should know what it is, so you should be able to communicate that this is what I can do. I would love to get into this sector or this domain, and whatever sector or domain you want to read about it, everything is available online. What is happening, work for companies, and you will eventually find the right sync or right kind of people while you are drawing some money and some experience in this ecosystem or the space that you want to be. Don't rush into making partners. Next question. How do I raise funding for an unregistered startup business? Well, you have to go to friends and family. Only friends and family will help you with an unregistered startup business. The startup angel investment is governed by government laws and investment rules. You have to be a primary limited company. You have to transfer shares. Everything has to be very, very legitimized and legal. Unregistered, you can only get it from friends and family. To reach a stage where you can be, you don't have to create a company initially. You reach a stage where you are investable, and then a company can be formed in 15 days. So that's not a big deal, in my opinion. Um, it is not. It is not angle. It's angel. It's ANGEL. An angel is an investor who invests at an early idea stage, who takes the maximum risk, who's probably going to be a first investor after your friends and family. That they are just called angel investors because they are investing at a very high risk on something that they bet on the team and the technology and the idea. So that's why they're called angels. But there's nothing angel about it. They follow, they negotiate, they do a due diligence. We don't invest just because we like how you made a presentation. We do a thorough investigation of what you're doing, what you can do, what you are able to do or capable of doing. It's just terminology because it's a high risk investment. 99 out of 100 don't succeed, and that's why it's called angel investment. Is it good to raise a fund with partnership along with friends? Yeah, I mean, if you get along with your friends as partners, it's always good to. So long as there any partnership, there's clarity, responsibilities. कौन क्या करेगा? Duties. किस किस की क्या जिम्मेवारी है? Powers. Who will take a decision on if there is a disagreement on a certain sector? तो कोई सॉफ्टवेयर का लीड करेगा, कोई मार्केटिंग को करेगा लीड, कोई एचआर को लीड करेगा, कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट को लीड करेगा, कोई लीगल को. So whatever whoever is leading should have the veto power to decide. So all those ये जो शर्तें आपस में जो काम करने के तरीके हैं वो क्लियर हैं तो दिक्कत नहीं आती. How do you approach the investor? LinkedIn always works the best. Search for them. Always look for an investor. I must say that who has invested in your area, who is interested in your domain, who has a track record of helping a startup go forward, who will be hands on and just don't take. It's not just about money. You need someone who is an intelligent investor also. So all that is also required. But LinkedIn works. Writing emails to angel investors or incubation programs or government grants also is a good idea, not a problem. Startup registered, it's a simple thing. Registrar of companies, any chartered accountant will be able to help you. It should cost you anywhere between 5 to 10,000 rupees. A private limited company can be created with your name, and you can start it. Any chartered accountant or a company secretary would be able to help you in creating a legitimate business or a company. A new but tough idea or develop small projects that would help me learn and gain experience. See, it depends. If you if you have the money, I would go for the tough idea. Um, if you don't have money, I will create small projects, make success stories, make money, and then go to a bigger idea, and so that you have a track record or you have a revenue, or someone will get more confidence in your ability to deliver. Implementing a new but tough idea or develop a smaller projects that would help me learn and gain experience. Yeah, that's what I've said. I answered that. Yeah. Should I focus much on product or go with that? So product is far more important. Advertisement is required for not so great products. Uber, when it launched, when it was disrupting the taxi market, did not have to advertise. It's when they overhired people, oversubscribed people, they went for so every time that you have to, if you have to advertise to get customers majorly, you don't your product or service is not good enough. I would always focus on the product or service. Advertisement should only be minimal, and if required. Are we supposed to be equipped with skills of financial modeling or valuations, or should we focus only operations and product and service and technology? Value. There are outsourced agencies which can do this for you. You don't have to have this in house. This is the one time, two time, three time. Whenever you go, after you invested the first time, valuations happen by the angels or the people who have invested. You don't have to invest in this. Yes, of course, you can be a first year engineering student and do a startup. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no right time to start. There's no wrong time to start. You can work for a company in 10 years on a job and then do a startup. You could be 60 and do a startup. No age, young or old, is incorrect to start a startup. How do you advertise for the products? Well, you have to decide. The product decides the advertisement. Your advertisement should be very focused, very target. It should reach the right audience. Even if it's online, it should reach the right age group, the right sexes, the right city. It cannot, it cannot be. You can't be advertising in Times of India, all or pan India, when your market is a small section of the society in the city. So it has to be very, very focused, very oriented, very limited in the reach rather than mass advertisement. The many startups go funding, some also make their way. Absolutely. So bootstrapping is a great thing to do because it creates or it strengthens you in the long run. I think it doesn't matter if the growth is slow. So long as your base is strong, so long as you're breaking even and not losing money, and you have 6 months or a year, your valuation will be higher. Your fund requirement will be more legit to an investor. It is always better. If you can't handle it and if you're not able to do it, then fundraising is imminent. But otherwise, if you can bootstrap, nothing like it. Every state has a startup policy. Almost all states have a startup policy. The industry department of state has all the details. I'm sure it's available on the websites also. You would have to go to the relevant officer in your state and register yourself with the DIPP, which is the national registry for startups, and then go to your state for a grant or a fund. Processes vary from state to state. Time taken, amount of grants are varying from every state. So you'll have to look at what state you are in. No. So this does not work. If you do a freelance job or you're doing something else and you are raising money, we will not fund you. As an investor, I have to feel that your life depends on the startup. You and if you are not focused, you will never succeed. I mean, even if I'm not focused on what I'm doing, I will not succeed. So it's very, very critical that if you don't have the money, don't do it. But to work part time and come in at home at night and do coding and say that you can do that until you don't need money and you are ready to reach the market. But eventually, you have to leave the job and be part of this. Who actually keeps the fund? The startup gets the fund. The funds sometimes come in tranches, so there are milestones that are decided, but the money stays with the startup. You decide how to invest. There are the process that is followed. Everything has to be legal and legit, and but the money stays with the startup, a private limited company that we create. Oh, sorry. Can the BTech student get the loan without any collateral? There are certain schemes of Government of India where you can get up to 1 or 2 crores. It's a SIDBI sponsored scheme, which is delivered through many nationalized banks. But you have to have a damn good idea, a damn good product, and you can get a collateral-free loan also. Try and go on the DIPP website or a SIDBI website, and you might find some details there. Well, if people don't invest, trust your venture, there's something not right with your venture. You will, experience people, and if it's not just one, but multiple people are saying the same thing. Either have the grit to prove them wrong, go around and deliver, or try and see what they're trying to see and change your business model and try and work. There's no point arguing or getting head on with someone who doesn't agree, because everyone is different. I mean, I don't invest in everything, but other people invest. So it's absolutely very, very individual and personal. Where should I look for skilled people who I can hire? Colleges, institutes who have right courses for the right kind of skill. Many people are registered on Naukri, or you can find them on LinkedIn. You can also go at co-working spaces, incubation centers. You should be able to find people. Well, it again, I think reply to that kind of, it depends on the product and service. Sales increase is, maybe you need to change the product, maybe you need to change the service, maybe you're not going to the right audience, maybe your pricing is not right, maybe what you are offering is not needed. So, it depends. It varies from, if there's no one rule fits all. To scale up Uber is different from what it is to scale up. Uh, uh, a startup which in the education sector or whatever is required. Same. I mean, the process I have told you, Corona times are behind us as angel investors. I mean, otherwise we are trying to survive. But as angels, we're looking at startups. In the early idea stage, you're in the right point, because now you will raise money in the next 2 3 months. You will then go to the market. By the time you reach market, it will be January to March. Corona will be gone by then. So we're looking at good ideas, good technology, good teams, good startups, which we can start to look at investments in the next 3 to 4 months, which will be in the market next year, by which everyone thinks Corona will be gone.
Uh, Sir, I think we are having repetitive questions, so we will just end the question and answer round here.
Sure.
Let's just take a very small feedback from everyone. So, how do you like this session? Please write it down in the comment section so we can get a feedback from everyone. Uh, Also, sir, this is a very small gesture for coming for our Let's Talk webinar. It was a really nice and informative webinar for all of us. I hope all the students that have joined us today will have got very much informed about how to start and where to get funding, and how to look at funding and how to look at their entrepreneurship in the coming times. So this is a very small gesture from Let's Talk.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, sir, for coming for the webinar. I can just take it away from here. If you want, you can leave the session.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, everyone. So the upcoming talks that we are having this Thursday and Saturday. On Thursday, we have Miss Meenal. On Saturday, we have Miss Meenal Srivastava, who is the Vice President of Marketing at Shalimar Paints. She will be telling about jobs and career in the field of marketing. Also, we will have on Tuesday we have Mr. Jojo Matthews, who is the CEO of ALS IAS, who will be talking about how to crack civil service examinations. So please do not miss the webinar and mark your dates. Now let me just very quickly tell you about what is What After College offering you. First of all, we are offering you a mentor LED online training program. These are like summer training programs, and we have already conducted these programs for more than 500 students this summer. These programs are in the field of Android development, Python, machine learning, and data science. So if you are interested in these programs, you can just go to our website whataftercollege.com, or you can call on the number below. We are also offering Microsoft recorded programs. These programs are just for 999 rupees. You will also get a Microsoft certificate after finishing these programs. So if you are interested in these programs, you can call on the number below to get more information related to these programs. Also, we are conducting what after college online workshops. These workshops are conducted in the field of artificial intelligence, ethical hacking, 3D printing, IoT, Android development, robotics, digital marketing, automobile, and IC engine. We conduct these workshops every weekend. Uh, and if you want to attend these workshops, you can just go to shop.whataftercollege.com and pay for these workshops. The good news is that you can also get a 50% discount on these workshops. How you can get the discount is that you will get the certificate for today's webinar after you fill the feedback form. When you will get the certificate, you have to share the certificate on your Instagram or LinkedIn account, and you have to send us the screenshot and link to the email ID mentioned below. So when I'll share the link of the feedback form at the end of this PPT, please fill the feedback form so that you can get the certificate, and you can also get this 50% discount on our workshops. You can also be a campus ambassador with what after college. In the campus ambassador program, you will get a campus ambassador certificate. You can also build your network among industry leaders, and you can also build a LinkedIn profile of your own. If you are interested in campus ambassador program, call on the number below. Now I'll just share you the link of the feedback form. All those who are interested, please fill the feedback form for the certificate. The link of the feedback form has been shared to you in the comment section. If you want the certificate for today's webinar, please fill the feedback form. The link, the feedback form is open for another 5 minutes, so please fill the feedback form as soon as possible.